Imagine this. Three, 3 years ago, I'm towards the end of my degree, and I'm struggling to write formal letters. I'm trying to fulfill the credits hour required to graduate and pass. A friend of mine calls and he says, "Hey Usman, why don't you just use ChatGPT? Copy and paste, and then your letter will be done within 20 seconds." I thought about it for a second. It felt absurd, to be honest. I thought maybe it might be a bit lazy and maybe it might account to cheating. But then I tried it for the first time and I was mind blown. That first experience was just something different. Everyone I spoke to were completely wowed by that first experience. At that moment, I had a realization. I thought that maybe this technology might revolutionize the world we live in. Every occupation might have AI integrated into it in some way, shape, or form. The last couple of years have only validated that experience. So I decided to make a bold move. Why don't we? I decided to pivot away from pure economics, which was my degree, more towards business with an intense focus on integrating AI into various aspects of it. I used to wake up around 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning and study for the couple morning hours every single day. I went all the way from basic Python to deep learning, mathematics behind backpropagation, forward propagation. To be fair, in hindsight, I feel that you can use a lot of low-code, no-code platforms out there to upskill yourself much faster. Perhaps it's not necessary to go that deep. And at the same time, I was liaison for my university to talk to external industry experts and get their feedback on various aspects. Combining both experiences, I was able to develop what I call a hack, not in a malicious way, but in a way for everyone to get their foot into the AI world that is evolving rapidly, quickly, and also showcase themselves in a way that might help them stand out. Fast forward 3 years, my day job involves now speaking to government officials all the way to the top across ASEAN, speaking to industry professionals, MNCs, SMEs, anyone who might be looking to integrate AI to generate revenue streams for their occupation and their work. However, my passion for the community has not faded away. My evening hours I spent educating and training students across the region. I've given lectures at NUS, Sunway, and a lot of other places across the region, more than 20 universities, mentoring more than 1,500 students on AI, helping them curate projects within half a day that they can deploy. And the realization I had a few years ago has only been reaffirmed. You see, on the one hand, we have incredible talent pool developing. NUS, for example, we can see that about 68% increase in enrollment in computer science courses over the last few years. Malaysia produces some of the highest number of STEM graduates, and Indonesia is one of the global leaders in producing STEM graduates year on year. At the same time, whenever I engage people in the industry, they will always cite a concern that there's lack of talent development, especially in leading technologies. And I often ask myself, what's going on? You see here another figure where we can see that AI is going to influence about 60% of jobs in advanced economies in the coming years, and about 35% in emerging economies such as Malaysia, Singapore, so on and so forth. So what's going on here? How do we upskill ourselves quickly to bridge that gap? This is where I can share with you my experience and why don't we make a difference. So let's talk about the untapped goal sitting in your hard drive, eating digital dust. I'm speaking about the projects that you might have done previously, projects you're doing now, and projects that you might do in the upcoming couple years. Most students will do those projects, of course, they'll get the assessment, and that's it. I remember we were given a project to do a car analysis model, make a prediction model for cars in Malaysia. Most students would go out there, make a 5 or 10-page report, and submit it. Can we do something different? Which leads me the first step of my hack. which is think application, not just submission. When I got that project, I asked my friend, hey, how do you go out and evaluate the value of the car? Let's say a used car you want to buy. How do you know that this car is maybe worth 5,000 or 6,000, whatever? A lot of them, their response was, it's mainly based on heuristics. So, my experience, the color, the model, so on and so forth. Can we make a mathematical model to predict the exact value of the car? And that's what I did. I went out there, scraped more than 70,000 data online, and made an entire report from it. A mathematical model where you can plug in different information, model of the car, color, service report, so on and so forth, and get a value of a car. So that when you go and buy it, perhaps you might know whether this car is undervalued or overvalued. This by no means is an extensive project, but it's a way to showcase myself. It's a way to think about application, not just submission. This is another project I posted on Kaggle a few years ago, where it's the same thing, but I'm doing with rental rooms in Malaysia because I wanted to find a good place to live, of course. So it's a simple heat map showing where we can see more availability of the rooms across the country. Which leads me to the second step. Think about POC, build a scope. I gave you guys two examples, car price prediction and rental houses, right? As for the first one, I did not show you any visualization. Second example, I showed you a visualization. You see, human beings are visual. We are very visual. We want to see ideas, not just hear them. If you create projects, no matter how brilliant the idea is, it's a lot easier to communicate that if there is a visual. And that's where building a scope comes in. Whether that be posting something on Kaggle, a simple notebook on a simple project, or that be a vlog, a video, a PPT slide, you can think about how you want to make a POC, make a demo, but figure out how to visually articulate your idea and your projects to people and not just have written word. It makes a lot of difference. It makes a lot of difference. Which leads me to the third step, and which is probably the most important one. You see, in my case, I would cold message people on LinkedIn. Hey, I'm a final year student. I did this project. I'm not from a technical background. Can I have 10 minutes of your time to perhaps review it? Can we get a cup of coffee outside your place nearby, and maybe we can talk more about this? Why am I doing? What was my philosophy? You see, a piece of paper, a resume, even if you have application, amazing project, even with demo, it's a lot harder to communicate that through a piece of paper. If there is a face behind it, if they can see, okay, this is the individual, John, I have spoken to him, I've talked to him, it gives a much better impression, right? And I would go out there, I would talk to them, take 10 minutes of their time, explain my projects, and they would be very amazed. Wow, this is very interesting. Let me bring it up to my management. Let me see what I can do for you. Let me see how I can help you out in this particular case. Now, I know many are not extroverts. It's not easy to go out physically and talk to people and ask them if they are willing to have a coffee. It's fine. Think about other ways you can curate your portfolio. This is a simple website template that I made a long time ago. You can think about something like this. Again, you can get these templates online. They're available. You can plug in your name. You can plug in different pictures as you like, and it's a way to curate your portfolio, to show yourself. So next time when someone asks, hey, what projects have you done? What are your accomplishments? You can give them a URL. They can go, they can browse, they can see. Let's say, for example, you're not into this kind of stuff. It is fine. Perhaps you can write articles. When I first started learning, I used to write Medium articles, publish it online, and get people's review and see what they think about it, forward it to researchers, so on and so forth. Figure out a way to curate your portfolio, whether that is through physical face-to-face meeting, or that is through blogs, through articles. Think about what is the best way you can curate it. Why does that matter? You see, you might have seen these phrases over and over again throughout your studies. You have to be proactive. You need to have practical skills. You must be a problem solver. You must understand the latest technological development, advancement happening. You need to be able to communicate effectively. Right? I'm sure we all have heard about phrases like these. But it's very difficult to showcase them in a neat manner. So if you follow these 3 steps, perhaps it can help you do that. It will show that you're not thinking just about submission. You are someone who can apply it. It shows that you are someone who thinks proactively. If you can make a demo or a POC, it shows that you have practical skills. You are someone who are trying to solve problems in everyday life, cars, rental houses, congestion. Think about it. It doesn't have to be technological, can also be marketing, whatever projects that you think are appropriate. You understand AI value chain in the world we live in, moving technologies, what are the cutting edge technologies, how do you apply them into your projects? Employers, potential employers can see that you're able to understand it. And most importantly, you're able to curate your portfolio. You're able to think different. You're able to communicate effectively. So my message to everyone is very simple. In the world we live in, which is constantly evolving, it is important to be different. It is important to be smart. So think about what you are doing and how do you evolve it beyond submission into application, into demos, and then showcase it in a way that can communicate effectively. Thank you very much.